Claire is practicing her breathing for her upcoming yoga retreat in Bali. Has she ever done yoga before? No. But Claire worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Join our 19 million customers today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisor Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Om Namaste.
In 2021, a 13-year-old kid walked up to Lando Norris and told him, "I want you to remember me, Lando. I will race against you in Formula One in 5 years' time." Fast forward 4 years, and Dr. Helmut Marko labels the same kid to be Red Bull Racing's biggest prospect in their quest to find a future world champion. He's the man who drove Red Bull Racing's appeal to the FIA for reducing the minimum age for a super license from 18 to 17. He's the first person in history to win on their Formula 3 debut and to win 2 F3 races in the same weekend. Oh, and that too after skipping Formula Regional, the series where we saw the likes of Oliver Bearman and Kimi Antonelli truly blossom. Today, we have a man who you might just see making unignorable waves and pushing for a Formula 1 seat next season. Remember the name. Arvid Lindblad is on the Inside Line F1 podcast. Our beloved F1 stats guru Sundaram and myself, Soumil Arora, caught up with Arvid at the Buddha International Circuit in Delhi this winter, and it was a fascinating conversation. From hearing stories of his Indian roots, which he's very proud of, to recollecting anecdotes with Dr. Marko and Rocky, Sebastian Vettel's old race engineer, and now the head of the Red Bull Driver Academy. This is a conversation that will introduce you to who Arvid really is as a person and what makes him tick. Welcome to the Inside Line F1 podcast, everyone. There can be no better way to kickstart the 2025 Formula 1 season than this. Let's dive right in. Next big talent in the Red Bull Driver Academy is Arvid Lindblad.
Hi guys, I'm Arvid Lindblad, racing in Formula 2 with Campos, but it's very similar to the Indian name Arvind.
Oh, okay. We were actually thinking of the same thing.
Yeah, I'm the youngest ever F3 race winner, and I love race cars.
Arvid Lindblad will make history once again. He will take a record equally.
I like the smile. Look at the smile.
Driving against him in a few years' time. He's a little bit scary.
Verstappen or Hamilton?
Verstappen. I'm here in India for the first time, exploring my Indian roots. And Rajma and Dal and all that stuff. And you're watching the Inside Line F1 podcast.
Man, there's just something about this place, the BIC, the Buddha International Circuit. The place where Sebastian Vettel won every single Indian Grand Prix. And we're here today to find and to meet a driver who could be the next in line after Sebastian and Max to be a Red Bull World Champion. Not my words, the words of Dr. Helmut Marko. But before we tell you more about the driver we're speaking about, let's tell you a little bit more about ourselves, because we rarely ever do that, right?
We rarely do that.
This is the Inside Line F1 podcast. My name is Soumil Arora. I'm the official Formula 1 commentator for Fan Code in Hindi. And also, I've had the fortune of commentating right here. In fact, from that very box there, for the 2023 MotoGP Indian Grand Prix. A surreal experience.
And I am Sundaram Ramaswamy, a motorsport statistician in Formula 1, F1 Academy, and a lot of other Indian categories as well.
And we're badly missing Kunal Shah, the man who actually started off the Force India Driver Academy, who's also very often on TV in Norway for the Viaplay network. Kunal got to speak to Dr. Helmut Marko recently, and Dr. Helmut Marko told Kunal that the next big talent in the Red Bull Driver Academy is Arvid Lindblad. This guy was the F3 Rookie of the Year in 2024. And the interesting part to this is that he's actually not done Frecker. He went straight from Formula 4 to Formula 3 in his first season. You'll be able to tell us more about the landmark numbers he's brought about, but he's progressing so quickly. And everyone from Will Buxton to Helmut Marko to Christian Horner, they all have good things about him.
They speak good things about him for a reason, because he's not just the next best thing for Red Bull, but possibly also Formula 1 in the next couple of years. His progression through the ranks, F4, F3, and now with F2 with Campos in 2025 is incredible. He's also the youngest F3 race winner, and also he's taken the most wins by a rookie in the championship. There's lots to look forward to in Arvid Lindblad. That's also why Helmut Marko and Christian Horner speak so highly of him.
And he was driving a Formula One car at the age of 16 as a part of a demo run. That is insane. Driving an F1 car at that age is quite something else. But Arvid has a long way to go. This year he's going to compete in Formula 2 with Campos. And we want to tell you more about his journey. What's it all like? Who is Arvid really? And there are some interesting Indian roots that you probably wouldn't know about that we are going to bring to light in this episode.
Let's find out?
Yeah, let's not wait anymore. Let's find out.
Find out.
And let's have a word with Arvid Lindblad.
Let's do that.
I did drive this car. Yeah. In the karting video. Yeah.
So Arvid, 3 years ago, you met Lando Norris at a karting circuit and you told him, remember me, 5 years down the line, I'll be racing with you in Formula 1. Now, we're just one step away. We've got the Formula 3 Rookie of the Year award. You won in Macau before that. How close are you, man? This seems to be it. We're nearly at the last step.
Yeah, obviously not far away. I'm sticking to the timeline quite well. So yeah, hopefully I'll get the job done in 5 years and see him in 2026.
But do tell me about that moment. Lando Norris, at that point, he's already a Formula 1 podium winner. You've got there for the first... was that the first time you met him though, firstly? No, or...
Yeah. I actually saw him on a plane in 2017. I recognized him on a plane, but it was the first time I sort of spoke to him and formally saw him. Was then, yeah.
And what a line, man. I'm going to see you in 5 years. That's the stuff of Hollywood movies. How did that come about?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just walking in the paddock. Obviously, he was there that day because he'd launched his go-kart. And yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it. I remembered obviously the story of Hamilton when he saw Ron Dennis for the first time saying, I'll drive in one of your cars one day. And I just thought, why not? I'll just tell him I'll be driving against him in a few years' time. So yeah, I don't know. It was really just a spur of the moment thing, and yeah, I just said it with full confidence.
That's so cool though. One more step away, and I think Lando's not the only one who's been talking good stuff about you. You found out that Will Buxton has been doing some chatting as well, right?
So interestingly, in 2021, 3.5 years ago, Will Buxton, the Formula 1 presenter and journalist, he did a fun little prediction of what the 2025 F1 grid would look like. And interestingly, he put your name on that list. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did see that. I did see that little article, yeah.
He put your name in the seat with Alpha Tauri, now racing Bulls.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad prediction. You're very, very close to that, and it's very close to becoming a reality for you.
Yeah, no, it's pretty... Yeah, it's pretty cool, obviously. Now I need to make it reality. Yeah, no, it's a fun little story.
But you've been making quite the waves, even in the junior categories, of course, in karting, and then F4, and mainly F3. Yeah. And I know you love your math. You've had a keen interest in math and science, and you've broken quite a few records this season. So you're the youngest F3 race winner. You have the highest F3 win percentage. You're tied for the most wins in a single season. And I don't know if you know this, but you have the most wins by a rookie in the championship's history. Okay. So that progression has been incredible. And how does it feel that you're on that path to Formula 1 and you're making so many waves as well?
Yeah, obviously it feels great. It's obviously a very good position to be in. I have a great sort of team around me with Red Bull, obviously with Prema as well this season, who supported me a lot. So yeah, I was able to do obviously a very good season. A few stats like you said there, a few records broken, which is always good. But yeah, no, I'm in a really good position. Things are going really well, and I'm really excited for this year in F2 to perform well and hopefully be knocking on the door of F1 shortly.
But do tell me about last season though. That double in Silverstone, that was crazy. I mean, we'd all heard of you and your incredible karting career, but that was some way to announce it. What went down there? How were you so good that weekend?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird weekend. The weather was quite changeable. Even before that,
very Swedish?
No, not very Swedish. Very British. But even before that, I mean, it was the first time racing in England because obviously, I raced in England when I first started, but then I went away to race in Europe because the level was higher. But then I came back, obviously, with Silverstone, the first time racing in England for 6 years, and then to win both races there was pretty cool.
And the first one to do it. The first one in championship history to take the double. Yeah,
the first one to win the double, and then just to do both races. I mean, was was a really cool moment. I think it was very interesting races, which obviously played well. I mean, there was a lot kicking off, but yeah, no, I did a good job, and the team and we made good strategy calls, and we were able to win both.
But it's so rare, man. 1 year in Formula 3. I mean, most drivers spend a couple of seasons in FRECA, then they do a couple of years of Formula 3, then they move forward. You've been on the fast track treatment. You've skipped FRECA basically. Now you've done one season of F3 and straight up into F2. Does it feel that it's all happening too fast? Has it sunk in for you?
It is very fast. I mean, there was actually an interesting article with F2 that came out a couple months ago where I was saying that it was 2 years ago was my last race in karting. So yeah, it has gone very fast, and I think I'm dealing with it okay so far. I'm just kind of taking it all in my stride and trying to perform at my best every day. But no, it has gone very fast. I mean, this year in F3, I knew it was going to be very challenging. I think almost no one does 1 year of F4 and then go straight to F3 and be competitive in the first year. So I knew it was going to be a tall order and a big task. But yeah, I mean, I just gave it my best and worked really hard, and were able to do a really good season. And yeah, obviously coming into F2, it's an even bigger task. But I mean, we saw this year with Bortoleto that you can do well as a rookie. So that's not obviously I can't get complacent, but if I work hard and keep to the same work ethic and stuff, I think I can do very well.
You know, on that, when we spoke to Dr. Marco before having a word with you, he said you're a very fast learner. You understand and pick up cars and pick up championships very well, and you know so much around what other drivers are doing and just what the lay of the land is. How do you do that? How do you adapt so quickly? Because your F2 test was also somewhat similar, we heard, wasn't it? Like day one, a bit of a learning. By the end, by day 3, you're gaining so much?
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I get in the car and I just feel and drive to what's needed. I mean, normally...
What's the first thing you notice when you're in the car? When you're in a new car altogether?
Yeah.
What's the first thing you feel like? What's your checklist like, more or less?
In the beginning, I'm a bit more... I experiment a bit when I first get in a car to understand what's needed. That's why, if you look at, for example, the F3 tests, I wasn't, P1 in the testing. It takes me a little bit of time to get up to speed, but then once I figure it out, which is normally by around the time the first races come, I'm able to perform well. And I think the F2 test was good, but there's still a lot of things that I can work on. So I'm just focused on that now in the winter, and then I have full confidence that when we come to the first race, I'll be competitive.
Now, they usually say that Formula One drivers take a good 2 to 3 laps, especially at a new circuit, for them to kind of acclimatize and figure out what the racing lines are and be able to push thereafter. Do you feel you're somewhere in that same range, 2 to 3 laps, or does it take you a bit long, especially with so many different cars that you race through in a season as well?
I think when you're comfortable with the car, that's a very big variable that's sort of removed, and then you can just get on the track and get on the limit pretty quick. So I don't know, I mean, 2 to 3 laps. It's always hard to sort of put a number on it, but you can, when you're comfortable with the car and you just get on the track and firstly just know how it goes, because sometimes that also takes a couple of laps just to figure out how it is. But if you just know the direction in which it goes, then you can get on the limit very quickly. I mean, in F2 and F3, we have to do that. In F3, we'd normally do 2-3 laps in practice, and then you're straight into qualifying. So,
and I also asked that because in your very first race in F3, you went on to win the race. You did have to pull out a couple of daredevil moves along the way, but your very first race in the championship, and you went on to win. So, how was that emotion? Because I know you're someone who loves to celebrate on the radio and otherwise. You're one of the most passionate drivers I've seen who celebrate to that extent. How did that feel, winning your very first race in F3?
Yeah, that was, Bahrain was special. Obviously, like you say, it was the first race. And even, like I touched on before, I knew it was going to be extremely difficult coming in. And we didn't want to set too high expectations. So to be able to win in the first race was a very nice feeling, and a bit of, I guess, a sense of reward over the winter, because, we put in a lot of work to be ready, and it was a good first box ticked. But I guess that was sort of the moment where I knew that I have the tools and the ability to do well, but I need to keep working, because obviously that was a sprint race. It wasn't a feature race, so I needed obviously still a lot to improve. And then my first feature race came in Barcelona, and that was a very good moment. But I think it was interesting the year, and if I look at it, it was a real constant progression, especially up till Silverstone, which is I think is rare to see such a clear improvement. And that was a really good season.
But if we rewind a little, you've been with Red Bull for 4 years right now. You've been back, supported by them. And we want to go back to the moment, because we've been discussing this over the last couple of days. We want to go back to the moment where you received that call, or your dad received that call. I think you were in Portugal.
Yeah.
To take us through that phase that moment where Dr. Helmut Marko called you.
Yes, I was honestly oblivious of what was going on at the time, because I was very much being told to focus on my side and the racing and the results. I wasn't really aware that in the background there was quite a few discussions with Red Bull. But I was in Portugal, in Portimao, testing before the World Championship. And we were sitting on the table, me and my dad, at breakfast one morning, and his phone rang, and I saw that I think it was plus 4-3, but I'm not 100% sure. And I just remember under it said Graz, Austria, on the phone number.
Did you realize what?
I didn't really know what was going on, but I knew Austria. I was thinking that's a bit interesting. I don't really know what that is. And then I just remember seeing my dad sort of see the number, and he had a bit of a skip in his step when he walked off. And then he came back and he told me that Dr. Marko wanted to meet us. To have a meeting to talk about me joining the program.
But Dr. Marko said something additionally to that, is it?
Yeah, exactly. He told us that when you first met him, you, 13-year-old Arvid, was leading the conversation.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? I mean, as a 13-year-old with Dr. Marko and your dad in the meeting, apparently you were the one driving it. I'm not sure even Max did that.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just felt, and I remember very well the moment. It was actually the Sunday morning. He invited us to the hotel that Red Bull was staying at. It was a Sunday morning of the Portuguese Grand Prix in 2020. And I just remember, we were sitting down and he was asking me a few questions, and I don't know, I was just answering them. And
did you have a PPT? No.
Sorry?
Did you have a PowerPoint presentation?
No, unfortunately I wasn't that well prepared. I just I just went with the flow and was just open and confident, and I was excited for the opportunity in the future. So I was maybe I didn't know 100% what I was doing, who I was talking to, but I was just going along with it.
Is it slightly scary though, Dr. Marko standing with you as a 13-year-old, the guy who's built legends like Sebastian and Max? Does it get to you sometimes that, oh wow, it is Dr. Marko?
Yeah, in the beginning especially, it was more the fact that he's a little bit scary.
The guy you see on TV, right?
Yeah, he's the guy you see on TV. He's quite cutthroat in his approach, and a little 13-year-old seeing him, it was also the way he talks. He's very Austrian, he's very to the point. So it was a bit to get used to in the beginning. But I don't know, I saw it as, obviously, he was like you say, the guy that was able to build Max and Seb, and I wanted to make sure I was the next guy. So I was full of confidence, and now I just talk to him like it's quite relaxed, quite relaxed conversations. Obviously, there's no excuses when things go wrong, but he's always been quite okay with me. I've heard some stories about with other drivers, and I've been quite lucky not to really experience any of those. But no, at the moment we just have a very good relationship, very open, and quite performance driven. In the end, I think a lot of people talk about his approach, and maybe it's quite challenging, or if it adds a lot of pressure. But for me, I guess the way that I see it is he wants the best drivers in Formula One. Yeah. That's Red Bull's goal. They want to have the best guys. I want to be in Formula One. So in the end, our vision and our goals are aligned. So I just see it as an opportunity. They want to help me. They believe in me, and we want the best for each other. So I don't feel any pressure on that side.
But the one thing that strikes me the most about you is your clarity in this goal, because it's so rare to see normal 17-year-olds be so clear about their target. You're not normal in that regard because you've been competing all your life. But on that front, where did that dream actually begin? Because that clarity for someone who's that young, even in motorsport, like 13 years old, this is what I want to do, and being that confident, I find that astounding. Where did it all come from, the goal of Formula One?
So I actually started with motocross when I was 3. My
That's
dad,
more like it.
he did a little bit of motocross when he was growing up, but they weren't very, they didn't have much money, just being honest. So it sort of died out pretty quick. But my sort of dad's side of the family has always had a big sort of passion for motorsport. So I started when I was 3.
3 is early, man.
Motocross, right?
With motocross, yeah. My mum
Were your feet even on the pedals at that point?
To be honest, I think the bike was controlling me, not the other way around.
Holy hell.
But yeah, obviously my mum thought it was a bit too much, a bit too dangerous, so she said no pretty quickly. But when I was 5, I started karting. And all I remember was I was just sitting on the sofa, watching the TV with my dad. This would have been around 2011, when I was 4, and I don't know, I was just watching the cars, and I was just like, I want to drive one, and I want to be in that one day. And that's kind of how it started. I mean, I had a clear vision and a goal from very early on. From that moment, I knew I wanted to be in Formula One. And when I started racing at 5, and when I was properly competing, even at 6, 7, it was always about being in Formula One and being a world champion. So, yeah, maybe that's not particularly common to have such a clear goal in life from so early. But yeah, again, that's always how it's been, and my vision has never changed.
How badly do you want it though? Because most 5, 6-year-olds always want to be a Formula One driver. We all have had that dream. But to follow it up with effort and action, that is what takes real effort, right? How did you do that? How clear was it to you that this is it? No studies, nothing else. This is all I want to do.
Yeah,
and there must have been some choices you would have had to make for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to obviously put into words how badly do you want it, because it's not, it's a very difficult thing to describe, but I was very comfortable sacrificing almost everything for it. Obviously coming from my mum's side, a bit of an Indian background, the stereotype is studies are very important, and my mum was fully of that belief, and I did my GCSEs. I've always had to work very hard on the academics, and yeah, I mean, things were challenged a lot. I mean, I had to leave school initially when I was 12 because it was just so much. Wow. I kept with the school though, and I actually went back when I was 14 because I wasn't particularly happy, to be honest, being at home all the time. But yeah, I mean, we had to sacrifice a lot. Friendships were always very difficult. I mean, if you can imagine growing up, everyone has they meet their friends on the weekend, or they go to birthday parties. Since when I was 6, I was on the racetrack every weekend, and yeah, I don't know, there was a lot of sacrifices, but to be honest, I don't really think about it. Even now, I can't remember all of them because for me, that's not really that important. I wasn't really that fussed. I gave up most of the normal life in an instant because I wanted to be in Formula One and I wanted to drive those cars and be a world champion. So it's, for now, I'm sitting here sort of talking about it, and it's you ask how badly I want it. I mean, I don't know. I've given up everything for it, and it's never been even a doubt in my mind.
And Arvid, a big part of your journey is Oliver Rowland, multiple-time Formula E race winner, someone who was your mentor, or still is your mentor in a way, in your journey to Formula One. What sort of a support has he been like? What's it been seeing the racing world at such a young age through him?
Yeah, it's been instrumental to have him sort of along me for basically all the journey so far. I definitely wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for him, without his sort of expert guidance and knowledge, because I mean, it wasn't that long ago that he was racing in F2. Yeah. And yeah, just to sort of have someone who's seen and done it all so recently, and been sort of extremely talented, as well, is very rare to have someone like that. So I'm really grateful to have him working with me.
And so much of it also might be the mental side, right? Because initially, the driving part is one thing, but as you go higher, the pressures just keep on getting higher.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of, I think the best way to describe it is just there's a lot more noise. Everything off track gets a lot bigger. There's a lot more headspace it takes up, a lot more time, and it becomes less and less about just the pure driving. And there's a lot more stuff you have to deal with. And yeah, like I said, obviously he's done it not that long ago, so he knows sort of all the challenges of it. And not even talking about like long ago. Now he's racing in Formula E, so exactly. He's experiencing it now. So to have someone like that helping me out is really beneficial.
You were born in 2007, and you might have been following Formula One or even other motorsport probably from 2013, 2014. So you probably started watching the sport at the time when Lewis was on the rise, winning all those titles, and then also now with Max. So if I'm not wrong, I would assume that Lewis and Max are your sporting idols?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to put it. I've always felt some sense of connection to Lewis. Obviously, being a man of colour, at the time when sort of I started watching Formula One, he was the only one really. For some reason, I also thought it was cool that he started racing in Formula One in 2007. I was born in 2007. So yeah, if I'm being honest, I mean, he was the one who I was always felt quite connected with. And yeah, then like you say, when I started really following the sport, he was the one who was sort of taking it by the reins and winning.
And you know, because we get this question a lot, drawing parallels between Lewis and Max, but we at least know that they're very different drivers. But probably hearing that from a driver himself, what do you find different or special about Max and Lewis in their own ways?
Even for me, I mean, it's hard to really compare the two because I think they're at very different stages of their career and they're very different drivers. I mean, Lewis, I don't think anyone can really doubt his talent. What he's been able to achieve has been remarkable, and he'll always be known as one of the greats of the sport. Max is maybe now he's not up and coming, but he's still very young, and I think he's just extremely impressive. It seems like whatever he does, whatever he gets in, whatever situation he's put in, he's able to make the best of it and just be extremely fast. I mean, yeah, I think the best way to describe Max is at the moment he seems to have no weaknesses, and he's just a bit better than everyone else.
Are you friends with Max? Because we've seen your Instagram as well, and we've known that you idolize him and you really wish him well before the race weekends. And I think back in 2017 is also when he followed you back. Do you have conversations with him about racing, about his data, and just how you can develop further as a racing driver yourself?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I think Max is he's a really great guy. He's really, I think he's really impressive because when I sort of first started to get to know him and talk to him, he really is just like a normal guy, and he doesn't let any of the fame or the noise sort of go to his head, and he's really down to earth. He always has taken a lot of time to talk to me, and he's been really helpful. And yeah, most of our conversations have just been about racing and stuff, but no, he's been really great to talk to and a really amazing person to know because yeah, like I said, he's been really down to earth and just been really open to help. And
he's that available because I'm sure he's very busy with his own commitments, but he does take time to speak to you and probably help you as well.
Yeah. I mean, in some of the recent races I've been in the F1 paddock, and the past couple of months, if I had a couple of questions, I'd send him a message and he would reply, really instantly, and it's really impressive considering, I mean, as a four-time world champion, the amount of things you have to do and stuff to deal with, to take the time to be able to talk to me is it was really amazing.
Is he your go-to person to speak to racing about? Max and maybe Oliver Rowland?
I mean, I'd say a lot more Ollie because I think Max is very busy and you don't want to take advantage of his time because obviously it's nice that he sends a message every now and again, but if you keep bugging him, I think it's going to be a bit annoying. So I talk to Ollie a lot about, I mean, everything racing related, I talk to Ollie. He really is my go-to person, and I ask him anything about racing related. He
still guides you through your F3 and possibly even through your F2 season?
Yeah, he's been super involved. I mean, he's got more involved recently. In F3, he came to a lot of the races. He was really involved, and it'll be the same next year in F2. We'll be spending a lot of time together because you only get one opportunity at this, and like we said earlier, I mean, I'm getting pushed pretty hard to come fastest through. I don't know if anyone's really done it at the same rate I have of just one year of F4, 1 year of F3. Without Frecker. So obviously I need some help and support to be able to deal with that and perform.
What sort of help and support? Just is it technical guidance mostly because you've skipped a category in the middle?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, most of it's technical stuff, because obviously I am still lacking pure mileage. Sort of F4 and Freca are the categories where you drive a lot, whereas F3 is not actually that much drive time. So pure just mileage and time in the car. I haven't spent loads, so yeah, just most of it's technical related and just focusing on improving me and just be able to literally just be faster.
And that brings us to Dr. Marco. You earlier mentioned that he's very performance driven, very focused in the way he speaks to you. What's it like? Firstly, what are the conversations like? What's the target he's set for you for 2025? Because I've heard he's very clear about these things. He gives you a certain statement and you just go and follow it. Is that the case?
Yeah, a little bit. He doesn't really care sometimes about he just says things how it is. And yeah, he gives clear targets.
But he's being very transparent and honest.
Yeah, he's very transparent and honest, and it's kind of just, I don't know, I want to win, I want to perform well, so I don't really see it as pressure or anything negative. I sort of take on board what he says and listen to him and take his advice, and then just go out and try and drive fast and make him happy.
Because I'm certain those targets would be the same as the targets you've set for yourself, right?
Exactly.
Like, for instance, when you joined the academy, win the championship. Is that something what was conveyed to you or something?
That's normally the response he gives you, and that's the goal he sets is to win.
Win the championship.
Win the championship, yeah. Which is normally easier said than done, but no, in the end, if you want to be in Formula One, you have to perform, you have to win. So yeah, that's the way the current F1 world is, and yeah, it's exciting, and I see it as great that I have this sort of support and an opportunity to be able to do that. So it makes me excited.
What was the brief for 2025? What's it like? Because nowadays things are different, right? You don't need to win a Formula 2 championship to get into Formula 1. Ollie Behrman's done that. Kimi Antonelli is now proving the same thing. Is that set in stone for you, that you need to win the championship to get into Formula 1? Or what's the target like for this year?
No, I don't think it's so set in stone like that. I mean, everyone knows that F2 and F3, with just the way the format is, it's very challenging, and there's a lot of variables that aren't fully in your control.
Yep.
So sometimes just to say that you have to win and not really taking other factors into account is difficult. So I think that's why now, it's not so set in stone, and there are drivers that are going to Formula 1 without winning, because I think it's about proving your talent and doing something special, but sometimes being able to do that across the whole season is, let's say the guy that wins the championship may not always be the one that's most impressive. And I think that's a bit more why the way's changed a bit.
Is F2 slightly broken that way then, do you think?
No, not broken, no. It's just, the way that, when you do 3 or 4 laps in FP and then you go to quali, and there's so many variables with the team, with the other drivers, and there's a lot of stuff that's not fully in your control. It's not always easy to do that. And even, this year, I think you mentioned Ollie and Kimi. Even the car performance is quite a big thing. Yeah. I think everyone knows. The fact that they are going to Formula 1, they're extremely impressive. And if you don't have the car underneath you, then it's very difficult to win.
The goal is Formula 1, and we are at a very iconic venue, the Budh International Circuit, somewhere where Sebastian Vettel dominated through and through. Yeah. You've driven his car a couple of months ago. I like the smile.
Look at the smile. The smile. That's more like it.
You drove his 2012 car, the RB8, something that he nicknamed Abbey. How was that experience in the demonstration run?
You drove a Formula 1 car at the age of 16. Firstly.
Yes, yeah.
That's insane, man.
Yeah, that was obviously that was an incredible moment for me. To be able to, like I was saying earlier, I sort of fell in love with the sport when I was 4 or 5. To be able to drive the car that I used to watch on the TV when I fell in love with the sport, one that I never thought I'd get the opportunity to drive, was amazing. And then to drive an F1 car is always pretty cool. And to do it at such a young age was a really amazing moment for me, and a great sort of a feeling of accomplishment and another sort of rung in the ladder climbed. So yeah, it was an amazing moment, and yeah, really, really amazing.
The last question I want to talk to you about before we finally get to your development, the part we're all so keen about, Guillaume Roquelin. Rocky, Seb's old race engineer, he's heading the Red Bull Driver Academy. Clearly he must have worked with you. What's that experience like, of someone who's won so many world championships, so much to learn from him? What have you learned from Rocky particularly?
Yeah, Rocky's been amazing. Like you say, I mean, obviously being here at the Buddha circuit, Seb won many times. Rocky was the engineer on all of those occasions. He now is sort of running the junior academy alongside Dr. Marco. So yeah, spending a lot of time working with him has been amazing. And yeah, just to sort of pick his brain and sort of just learn from him, all his knowledge is amazing. I mean, like Ollie, as I was saying, he's sort of done it a lot. There's so much knowledge to get from him. It's the same with Rocky.
You can't hide from them, right? Because they've seen so many greats. They know exactly what's going on in your brain when you're driving, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they know what a race winner and what someone sort of, I mean, working with Seb, you know what a world champion looks like. And I need to always be at my best to try to sort of impress him and aspire to be like Seb and like Max. And yeah, always work on myself to try to get to that level.
So how do we say your name, man? What's the whole story?
So my name's Arvid. It's yeah, that's how you say it, Arvid. But my parents' reasoning for the name, obviously my dad being Swedish, my mum being Indian, they wanted a name that's sort of very similar. So Arvid's actually a Swedish name, but it's very similar to the Indian name Arvind.
Correct. Oh, okay. We were actually thinking of the same thing.
Yeah. And my brother's called Amil, which is an Indian name, and is very similar to Emil, which is a Swedish name. So yeah,
it's very creative actually.
It's a little bit of a fun game there.
That's so cool, man. And what's the whole story with you in India? Like, I hear your mom's from India, right?
Yeah. So my mom's from India. She was actually born and brought up in England, but her parents are fully Indian. My mum's side of the family is fully Indian. My grandparents were born and brought up in the Punjab region, which is the part that's now Pakistan. They were involved in the partition when they were growing up. So yeah, and basically all that side of my mum's side of the family is fully Indian. My sort of grandparents moved to England or to Europe as doctors. But my mum was always living as basically an Indian girl in England, all the traditions and everything. And even I've been experienced and exposed to some of the sort of great Indian traditions as well. So,
but how much of a part has it been of your upbringing?
Because we see the Happy Diwali poster on Instagram. That's more like it. That sounds like something all of us do.
Yeah.
What's it been like?
No, it's been definitely quite a big part of my life. Every time I see my grandparents, they make Indian food for me, so I'm very used to having sort of samosas and rajma and dal and all that stuff. So yeah, there's definitely been quite a big Indian heritage or Indian part of my upbringing. But I want to sort of tap into my roots and that sort of side of me even more. So this is my first time in India, and
so cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here, and hopefully it's the first of many.
Can you tolerate the food though? Like not the one back here. Here.
The spice, you mean?
The spice.
So I mean, we'll see. I've only had one Indian meal so far. It was in the hotel, and I didn't find it particularly spicy. So maybe I'm doing okay. I'm used to having Tabasco with a lot of my food, so I enjoy my spice.
What's your favorite dish?
Oh yeah.
My favorite dish. So I'm quite a person who likes to mix. So for example, when I'm having food, like my grandparents, or even yesterday when I was at the restaurant, we ordered some lamb curry, chicken curry, and dal, and I was sort of mixing all with some rice.
And where are you going to now that you're here in India for a few days? I hear you're touring the country a bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So we'll go to Taj Mahal. We'll go to Pune.
Pune, yeah.
Pune, I think that's how you say it.
And Arvid, the Red Bull Driver Academy. Firstly, how cool is it to be part of something like this? And the other thing I really want to know is the schedule. Is it something that they give you, that this is what you need to be doing every single day at a certain point in time, or with X amounts of sleep or something like that? How rigid is it working with the Driver Academy? So yeah, obviously I'm extremely fortunate to be on the Red Bull program, being signed at 13. I've been with them now for 4 years. And I mean, obviously if you look at the results of the Formula 1 team, there's no place better to be. They wouldn't really give us like a fixed schedule saying you have to do this and this, but it's very much that we need to be proactive. So there are people there who are always available to offer help,
and advice, but then we need to be the ones who sort of ask for that. They're not going to sort of do it for us. Always looking for that edge of performance and advice from the people that are very experienced.
But in terms of development, how much of a boon has it been being under the Red Bull umbrella and in their support system? How has it helped you develop as a driver?
Oh, massively. I mean, before we were touching on Rocky, I mean, his experience and the amount of advice and knowledge that he can give me, and then even just to be exposed to that whole world and that environment, sort of with the Formula One team, listening in to some of the stuff in the ops room during the weekends, even getting to drive on the sim now more recently. At Red Bull, they also have an F2 and F3. Right, they have all the categories on the sim as well. It's been great. I mean, they really help out as much as they can. Rocky's starting to come to most of the races as well, to offer, just to be there to help out. So yeah, it's been really great to have their knowledge and help.
But how's the environment within the academy amongst your peers, amongst other drivers? I'm sure having a little bit of healthy competition is good for you, but do you share data? Do you share details of driving?
So there's a little bit shared on the sim between us, but I mean, I guess honestly the environment in the academy is quite okay. I mean, we don't really talk that much though, because most of us are in different teams. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm friendly, but just because, I mean, there's no point being rude off track. There's no any need for that. But I mean,
but you're all mates off track. But you're
I don't know mates. I mean, we're friendly with each other. But then on track, I mean, I want to beat everyone, whether they're Ferrari, Red Bull, or no one. I mean, not on a academy. Yeah. So I mean, for me, it doesn't really matter. I want to win. I want to beat everyone. So it's. I don't really think about it.
And how many miles have you done in the RB simulator already?
A few. You mean the F2 or the F1?
F1.
In the F1, I've done a few laps now. I don't know how many. A few hundred,
but
maybe 500 or something.
There's a sizable difference between the both. You can feel.
It's a different level. I mean, F1, it's like 15 seconds, 12. I think 12 seconds faster than F2. Oh. So it's another level of. It feels a bit like a video game when you first jump in. No, it does. It's so fast. I mean, your eyes struggle to compute the speed. The first couple of laps, it feels like a game. It's difficult to be on the limit of the car. So it's very impressive and it's enjoyable to drive.
And when we spoke to Dr. Marco, he said that there are lots of old car testing programs, the old TPC programs lined up for you in the next couple of years. How's that feeling like, the excitement of being able to drive a Formula One car consistently? That must be a big part of your development, right? Just getting used to the speed, getting used to working with so many mechanics, so many engineers. That whole part of the process will be so important for you going ahead. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it's great that they're putting that sort of trust and faith in me to be able to get the opportunity. But yeah, I mean, it's great, but I need to focus on F2 because all that stuff can go away very quickly. And it'll be great to drive an F1 on numerous occasions if that goes ahead, but in the end I want to drive in Formula One and be a world champion, so that's kind of, if I do my job and I do well, that should be a given.
So, closing note, when are we seeing you in Formula One? What's the target for this year, particularly, 25?
I don't really want to put a number on it. I want to...
Hey, you've put a number on it already,
well,
in 2021. That was 5 years from there.
No, I mean, so I want to be in F1 in 2026. I mean, for this year in F2, I don't really want to put a number on it. I just want to go out and perform as best I can, and then we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, I just want to do my best, and like I said before, maximize sort of every opportunity, every situation I'm in, and hopefully then everything will fall into place, and we'll be doing pretty well.
And when you get to Formula One, I'm not saying if, when you get to Formula One, what's your number going to be?
Race number. I haven't thought about it. I probably need to have a bit of a think. I'm
37 for Kobe Mainu? He's doing well.
No, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I'm quite a big Michael Jordan fan, so I'd ideally want to be 23. I also used 23 when I was in karting, but I mean that's taken at the moment, so we'll see.
I'm going to ask you about the drivers who've done the most races for Red Bull. All right, so you can tell me their names. I'll tell you the order, but it's top 10. Okay?
10?
Yeah, top 10 drivers. I'm sure you know the names. All right?
So Max.
He's number 1, 186.
Okay. Seb.
Seb's number 3, 113.
Perez, Coulthard.
Perez is 5'6", yes.
Who else has driven the car? Webber.
Webber's number 2, okay.
Top 10, I'm trying to think, is it?
We still have 4 more.
Yeah, no,
Still 5 more.
there's many more drivers. It's changed. It's the second seat's changed a few
You're
times.
missing number 4. Someone who was there this year as well. Ricardo's number 4.
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
so we've got the top 6 now. We have 4 more names.
Okay.
Gotta go way back in
Albon?
time.
Albon's, yes, he's number 8. 3 more.
Okay.
7, 9 and 10.
Who
One of them
was
is driving this year as well. And he drove for Red Bull.
Gasly.
Gasly's number
Okay.
10.
I was thinking,
Two
I didn't
more.
know if he made the cut.
No,
okay.
no, he had 12 starts, so we have 2 more.
12.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so it's just almost everyone who's driven the car.
yes. 2 more.
Kvyat, was he in there?
Kvyat's number 9. This
Okay.
one might be a little tricky, but someone from Austria.
Sebastian Klein.
Christian Klein.
Christian Klein,
28 starts, you got all 10. Congratulations. That's incredible. Rapid fire, this or that. He'll tell you 2 drivers' names and you have to choose which one.
Which
you
one's
prefer.
better? Okay.
Yeah, alright. Norris or Leclerc?
Leclerc.
Leclerc or Piastri?
Leclerc.
Leclerc or Sainz?
Leclerc.
Leclerc or Alonso? He's taking that. He's
This is
taking
not
that.
rapid fire, is it? Let's just say Alonso.
Alonso, okay. Alonso or Vettel? Again, a tough
Vettel.
one. Vettel or Verstappen?
Verstappen.
Verstappen or Schumacher?
Verstappen.
Verstappen or Hamilton?
Verstappen.
Verstappen. Lovely.
That's more like it.
Simply lovely.
We're going to ask you to build your ultimate Formula 1 driver based on these certain characteristics. Okay, Arvid's ultimate Formula 1 driver. Who are you picking for composure?
Oh, I was thinking it's going to be like overtaking, defending.
Sure, we can start with
Composure.
overtaking.
No, let's start composure. Raikkonen, he seems pretty chilled out.
Tyre management?
Hamilton.
Qualifying pace?
Leclerc.
Interesting. Setups? Someone who's just so good with feedback.
Schumacher.
Ooh,
Ah,
nice
lovely.
one.
Technically switched on.
Media. Dealing with the media. Yeah.
Lando. I think he's pretty good with the media.
Okay. Learning a racetrack. Being quick instantly. Alonso. And driving in the rain.
Senna.
No Max there.
Well, no, I mean, these weren't like, if you said like overtaking or, I mean, something like that.
Let's put it that way. Overtaking.
Max.
Aggression.
Max.
Got to find a way to bring him in. Right?
Yeah.
That's more like it. And we're at the end, guys. So crazy to get to speak to Arvid Lindblad. And I personally, Sundaram, am so excited for 2025 because this guy has been good in every first season he's gone to. Formula 4, Formula 3. Now we get to see him in Formula 2. And Dr. Helmut Marko already says his progress is coming along well.
I mean, he's been doing well in every single-seater championship that he's been a part of. He's won races there and he's found the right steps into Formula 2 as well. So it's going to be very, very exciting to see what he can do in that Campos car throughout the season. I'm very excited.
And the maturity and focus at the age of 17 is, to me personally, mind-blowing. It's insane. And we can't wait to see when Arvid Lindblad gets to Formula 1. Keep watching, folks. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Inside Line F1 podcast. On behalf of F1 Stats Guru Sundaram and myself, Soumil, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you very much to Red Bull India. Thank you to Arvid for lending out his time when he's made a trip here to India as well. And we will see you for our in-season coverage on the Inside Line F1 podcast. Bye-bye. Next match.
He's starting a new season, so start on a good note.
Exactly. We got some sweets for you, but we absolutely forgot to bring it in the
I
video.
don't know how we can give it to you though.
So this is the concept of Shagun, basically.
Okay.
A sweet dish just for good luck.
Okay. Thank you.
Go in.
How do we...
Thank
That's
you.
not an awkward exchange at all. Not at all. Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All the
Really
best
nice
for
to
the
meet you.
All the best for the season, man.
Thank you.
As we said at the start, remember the name. Arvid is going to be racing with Campos in Formula 2 this season and is on the verge of potentially getting a seat in Red Bull Racing, at least in the FP1 sessions, if things go to plan this year. Make sure you follow his journey and make sure you keep a track of exactly what he's doing because very soon you might just see this name in Formula 1. Thank you so much for watching and listening, everyone. We'll see you for our in-season coverage on the Inside Line F1 podcast very shortly. Bye-bye.